So as you can see here, I've got the gas tank mocked up here on the back of the BLT in cardboard. That represents a 10-inch diameter tank. I've kind of got it recessed right here in between the frame rails, which I thought looks kind of cool. Doesn't really serve any purpose that way, but I just thought it looked cool, so that's what I think I'm going to do. And you know, I could order that tank. I found a company online that makes spun aluminum gas tanks. It does a really good job, and you know, it looked cool, but that's $270. And I kind of got a philosophy on building these old hot rods that you know, I like to build a lot of parts myself and just keep it cheap and simple, and to me that's part of the fun. So I've been kind of keeping an eye out for some metal to build a tank out of, and I also thought I might put it up underneath the bed right here, but I think I've opted for that round tank on top. Maybe some cardboard tires too here, just to kind of get an idea of what tire size I want back here in the back, and just to have a visual. So I think I'm going to go with these wheels and a 718 bias ply, the old Firestone pie crust radials on the back there. So I've not spent a lot of money on this car so far. I built a lot of parts myself, and I enjoyed doing that. So I thought, why not give it a go on the gas tank? So just so happened I found this piece of round stack. This was a smokestack actually on a piece of equipment, and it was in the scrap pile on a job site there. So it just so happened to be the same diameter of the tank that I was wanting to use, which is 10 inches. So this is stainless steel, and if it had been regular mild steel, I probably wouldn't have bothered, because it being a smokestack, it would have been probably eat up with rust. But it's a good piece of metal, even though it looks like carnage. Let's see if I can find my metal gauge here. Kind of figure out what thickness that is. I'm going to say that's probably maybe 16 gauge. Find a good piece of, it's not got any burrs or anything on it. And let's see, that is right there. That is, get in the light here so I can see, that is 18 gauge. So that's not super thin. It's not real thick either. Not sure if I'll be able to use it, but the price was right on it. So if I don't get anything else done tonight, I'm going to cut it off right here at this weld joint and kind of throw it up on the back of the car and see what happens. Well, I got that piece chopped off right there, but it's not real straight. But that was not my goal in the first place. My goal was to just chop it down and get it a little bit more manageable to move around here and work with. So now I've got my guide on that clamped on right there, and I've marked it around the outside, and I'm going to line that end up right there. Then I'll measure out just shy of 40 inches and do the same thing on the other end. Then I should have the outside dimension of a gas tank. Well, upon further inspection, I found a spot right there in that weld that looks just a little bit dubious. So I'm going to move that mark in just a little bit and cut that out. I'd hate to get all the way done with this gas tank and then it leaked right there. So this looks like a really nice factory joint. Otherwise, looks like it was probably machine welded right there, but it looks like that right there is where they probably started and stopped. So I'm just going to move right in board a little bit, cut that off, and it'll still leave me plenty of length on the other end to get the length that I need. Well, there's one side down, good and straight. As I was getting my wrap put on this other end of the pipe right here, I looked inside and I seen the writing of the guy that bent this piece of pipe up at the factory. So I thought that was pretty cool. I bet he didn't have any idea that piece of pipe that he was building would eventually be the gas tank of an old hot rod. I've run into one small problem, and that is the gas tank is hitting the back panel right there. And as I pushed it down in the frame, you can see right here, I've not got the body bolted down yet, so it pushed it forward just a little bit. So I think what I can do is go ahead and cut out and weld on the end plates right there. And I think I can probably kind of mark the back of the seat right there, the back panel, where it contacts the gas tank. And I think I can take a rubber mallet probably and persuade that metal just a little bit. And you won't really see it because it'll be, you know, on the front side of the gas tank and kind of hidden back there. So probably just massage that right there just a little bit. But I'm really happy with that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the end pieces out. The other thing is, this thing is not perfectly round. So I found by clocking it, you know, turning it around, it fit better in one certain place. And the factory weld seam ended up just about right there. So, and it fit, you know, pretty nice in there that way. So it's a little bit, just a little bit teardrop shaped, but that's okay. I'm not going to be too picky about it. So, as far as the finish goes, I think, after I get the ends welded on it, and I don't know, may try to clean it up some. I could just leave it like that and kind of go over it a little bit with some steel wool and call it done. But I think I'm going to put a couple of leather straps on it to hold it down. It's actually sitting on that cross brace right there that I installed, and that will eventually hold the shock absorbers for the rear end. So it just sits right down on that, and it rests on the front piece right there. So yeah, it fits in there really nice. So I'm gonna get started cutting the ends out, and then I got to come up with a filler neck also. So the filler neck probably go right here in the middle. I thought about doing one on each side, but I don't know. Probably just put the one in the middle. Have to lean over a little bit to put gas in it, but that's okay. All right, now that I've got the body of the tank cut down to the length that I want, I'm getting started on the end pieces. So basically this is just a couple of 10-inch discs cut out of 3/16 inch thick stainless. So what I've done right here is I've just taken this cardboard cutout that I used on my mock-up, and that's pretty handy because I just kind of place it on the metal wherever it looks like it'll fit the best. So I found the center right there. I just used a Sharpie to make a dot right there through that hole. Then I took a drill and a small drill bit and just kind of drilled a little divot there where the center is. And not too deep, just very shallow. And then I've taken this piece of scrap wood and I've drilled 2 sheetrock screws in there right at 5 inches apart. I measured from tip to tip right there, exactly 5 inches. And then I just used that to place one of them on the divot, and then I just scored around the outside right there, and it made a nice little line right there that I can follow with my cutoff wheel. So I discovered that this is a little bit egg-shaped. So what the plan is, and that's the reason why I'm using such thick metal. Well, number one, because it's what I had laying around. Number two, I'm going to try to let about half of that thickness sit down inside the tank, and that will force this to be round. It'll force it to take that round shape of the disc. And the other half of that disc I'm going to leave sticking up right here. And that'll give me a nice edge right there on which to lay a bead. All right, there's my 2 discs cut out. And what I've done here is on the back side, I just tacked a flange nut right there. And I took a bolt, cut the head off of it, just put in there so I could chunk it in my drill. And then I just clamped my drill in the vise and went around, spun it, and went around it with a grinder. And this one's kind of got a just a spun look, and this one has more of a starburst pattern. Just kind of experimenting. Don't know which one I'm going to go with yet. I actually thought about maybe doing some engine turning on them too, but I think this is what I'm going to go with. Now that I've got the ends cut out and kind of squared away, moving on to the filler neck and the gas cap. This is probably my favorite thing that I've bought for this little fart so far. And this is a Newell stock military piece that I picked up. It's 1 7/8 inch thread right there, and solid brass. It's got this really cool chain on it, so you won't lose your cap. So I picked that up for 20 bucks, and with the hopes that I could use it on this gas tank. So it does not have a neck with it, but I have found that a conduit coupling has the same thread pattern. So this is 1.5 inch rigid conduit fitting, and it's got the same thread pattern on it. So I think that I can use that. Only problem is that this is galvanized mild steel. So I think what I'm going to do is cut about, I don't know, maybe about a 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8 inch of threads out of this. And then I'll take a piece of stainless pipe to make the neck out of, and I'll use a muffler pipe swedge just to swedge the stainless pipe out enough that this will just press into it, and then I can tack it on the inside of that stainless, and then I can weld the stainless neck to the gas tank. But I think this is a pretty cool piece. I sure hope I can use it. All right, there's the first look at it in the car. This is the starburst pattern I've got pressed in there on this end. I don't know, I'm kind of digging that. I may redo the other side to that pattern, or I may do one of each. See who notices it. I'm loving the way this tank is taking shape, and the look of it kind of almost has a bit of a steampunk look with that gas cap. I'm not going to have time to get it welded up this weekend. I've got everything pretty well fit up And the only thing I lack is drilling the hole on the bottom for the outlet, which will be on this side over here, I think. And what I'll use for it is a stainless steel 1/4 inch pipe nipple. And I'll just cut that in half, use 1/2 of it, and weld that on the bottom. And I'll probably take off with a brass fitting from there. I don't know, tell me what y'all think about it. I really kind of dig it. A couple of leather straps on here, and that will totally complete the look, I think.